What's up, everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you my top 10 personal action figures of 2019. This is continuing our top action figures of the year lists that we have been doing. We've done one for Neca and Black Series specifically, but I do collect some other stuff. J-Rick really doesn't, but I figured that there were so many good figures this year released from other companies that I wanted to make my own personal top 10 list. Of course, there's more than 10 figures here in front of us, so there will be some honorable mentions. We don't really have to beat around the bush with this one. Let's just go ahead and get into those honorable mentions. All right, so my first honorable mention is the Storm Collectibles Gears of War 5 Marcus Fenix. I just recently picked this one up, and this is my first Storm Collectibles figure I have ever owned, and I am just completely blown away. I didn't want to put it on the list just because he's so new. I could just be hyped off of having my very first Storm Collectibles, but the size, the details, the articulation of this Marcus figure is just so good. He comes with a ton of accessories, different heads, all sorts of good stuff like that. And so for my first outing with Storm Collectibles, I gotta say, this figure is really awesome, and I'm a pretty big fan of Gears of War. Next up is the Bandai Gundam Universe Gundam Wing. This is, of course, from the latest line of 6-inch scale Gundam action figures, which have been sorely missed throughout the collector community for a very long time. For how cheap the Gundam Universe figures are, they have been pretty damn awesome so far. The articulation is a little bit more limited than I would like, and I think that's partially why after wave 1 of these guys, I kind of hung it up and I just got deeper into the model kits, because the model kits do, in my opinion, have superior articulation, and of course most of the time are just right around the same price for a high grade model kit. And I also really enjoy building the models, but these figures are really nice, and they're really nice for people who do not like building model kits but still want some Gundam figures in their collection. Really nice details on Gundam Wing, and really I could have probably put Grandpa Gundam in this spot, but Gundam Wing was the first Gundam series I ever saw, so the Wing Gundam always has a special place in my heart. And next up, we have the 1954 Godzilla re-release from Neca Toys. This is a fantastic looking Godzilla figure. And yes, this is technically a re-release, but from what I have gathered from my initial review, I did not own the previous one, that this is leaps and bounds better than the original, especially in terms of paint details. So, of course, it's a classic Godzilla. He's packed with articulation, although some of it does not work, but there is some very clever articulation built into Godzilla. Of course, his atomic blast effect is really nice, and the grayscale across the entire figure are details that are really appreciated. And my next honorable mention is the Mattel DC Multiverse Ultimate Alfred. What a surprising figure. Probably one of the best figures that the Multiverse has released in recent memory. Of course, it is on that Joker body, which is a pretty good body, especially for DC Mattel stuff. And then just giving it a little bit of different paint detail and giving us a bunch of different Alfred heads, along with some nice accessories, not including the gun that I have him holding, but I usually have him posed blocking Superman's beams with his little tray there, just in kind of a funny little moment. But I was really excited when they decided to include this particular Alfred head from the original, well, not original, but the 80s and 90s Batman movies, which is what I grew up with. So this is my preferred version of Alfred. And I think the head sculpt does look pretty good, although he is a little too tall for most of the Batman I have in my collection, so it's a little weird when I've got Alfred towering over so many of them. And finally, my last honorable mention is the Star Wars The Black Series Jet Trooper. This figure has some of the best trooper articulation in the Black Series period. And I also just really enjoyed the design of the Jet Trooper, and the few very brief moments they had in Rise of Skywalker were also pretty cool. This is the carbonized one, but the original one would also be a contender for an honorable mention. However, I do like the paint detailing on the carbonized version just a little bit more, because it does have a little bit more detail than the standard all-white release. Of course, I'm a sucker for troopers, and I'm a sucker for great articulation, so the Jet Trooper was a nice, surprising figure. So now let's get into the top 10 figures of 2019. This, of course, is my own personal list. So do not come at me when you don't see something that you really like on this list, because chances are I either don't own it or I just wasn't all that crazy about it. So with that in mind, share your top 10 figures of 2019 in the comments down below. Let's kick it off with number 10, and that is the Marvel Legends Beast. One of the 3 Marvel Legend figures I actually ended up picking up this year. I had the Select Beast, and I thought that was going to be good enough for me, but then as soon as I saw all of the insane articulation that Hasbro included with this version of Beast, I couldn't pass it up. Of course, the shading is a little abrupt and abrasive on the figure, but I don't really think it's all that bad. And I do like the screaming head sculpt, but I do wish we could have gotten a more relaxed looking face, because in my mind, Beast really, isn't all that angry all the time. He's mostly pretty calm and relaxed. But like I said, the articulation on this guy is insane, especially for a Marvel Legends figure from Hasbro. I mean, when's the last time we actually saw toe articulation on a Marvel Legend? And of course, all the other X-Men stuff they released this year was awesome, but I just don't have enough space in my collection for Marvel Legends anymore. Coming in at number 9 is the Neca Faun from Pan's Labyrinth. Pan's Labyrinth is an excellent film, and Neca actually murdered the game with this action figure of Faun. The sculpt work, the paint application, the details, and the accessories are just absolutely insane. He looks like he just jumped off the screen, and I love it. The only downside of this figure is he definitely has a difficult time standing, so I would say pretty much a base is required at all times. Luckily, Neca makes those, and they are easily acquirable. But yeah, all of the Guillermo del Toro stuff released this year was so good, but I think Faun just stands above and beyond the rest. And you can see the level of detail and quality put into this figure right in front of your eyes. Coming in at number 8 is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Magna Defender. What an excellent figure, a very nostalgic figure for me. So when Hasbro announced that they were going to be putting out the Magna Defender, I was unbelievably excited, and they really delivered with this one. He's got tons of articulation, just like pretty much all of the figures in the line so far, which is great. I really battled with myself whether to put Magna Defender or the White Ranger or Green Ranger, one of those, because those are also really excellent figures. Same thing with like Lord Zed. But Magna Defender, from a design standpoint and from just nostalgia standpoint, wins out for me. This is also one of the few Power Ranger figures I have that is almost completely free of QC issues, which is my big problem with the line right now. But of course, you do get some awesome accessories with the Magna Defender. You get his gun version of the sword and the sword as well, along with some nice blast effects. Put that together with the awesome sculpted detail on him, and it's easy to see why Magna Defender could go on anyone's list. And coming in at number 7 is the NECA Toys Friday the 13th Part 5 A New Beginning Roy Burns Jason. This was the final Jason figure we are getting from NECA Toys for a while, until the lawsuit is completely over with, and they definitely went out with a bang. He comes with every single accessory you could possibly want a Roy Burns figure to come with. The mask looks great. The sculpted details across the suit are amazing, and he is on that really awesome 2019 Michael Myers body, so you've got the double jointed elbows as well, which is something that has not been on any previous Jason release, and it just makes Roy that much better. Of course, the sheer options are amazing, and they are articulated by themselves, so you can have them opened or closed. The unmasked head could look a little bit better, but honestly, if you're buying a Roy Burns figure, you're not taking the mask off. You're just not. Don't kid yourself. And coming in at number 6 is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Neca Toys Superman. This is, of course, from the Superman Aliens 2-pack, which came with a so-so Xenomorph and probably the best Superman action figure of all time. Super tight joints to this day aside, the cape is absolutely fantastic. The classic S logo on the cape as well, and the material that it is made out of is also really nice. Combine that with some really awesome heat vision accessories, and it's easier to see why the Superman figure has already become so beloved in such a short period of time. Neca absolutely killed it. I wish that they could have gotten these a wider release, because I did have to miss out on the Green Lantern sets, which was a big bummer. I'm sure Green Lantern would be awesome as well. They all are on the same body, Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern. So you could imagine that they are all around the same level of quality, but Superman figures have been hurting for a while, so it's really nice to get this super solid release for him. And coming in at number 5 is the Star Wars The Black Series Emperor Palpatine with the throne. This is the Amazon exclusive that was released towards the end of the year and was a massive improvement over the original Emperor in every single way possible. They ditched the soft plastic goods for a completely cloth robe, so you can actually get him to sit in the throne nicely. The throne also has wonderful details, and he comes with 3 alternate heads and lightning hand effects, something that we usually do not see in the Black Series. Of course, he is a little bit more expensive, but he's well worth every penny, as if you're a Star Wars collector, the Emperor is 100% an essential character to have in your collection. So Hasbro was really killing it this year with the Black Series, and it seems like Marvel Legends, although I did not collect most of those. But as a Black Series collector, this is probably one of the best years for Hasbro of all time. Coming in at number 4 is actually 4 figures, but I'm only putting 1 on screen to represent them all, and that is the GameStop exclusive NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Unbelievable level of details packed into every single one of these guys. And of course, they are mostly the same figure, so I'm going to cheat a little bit and include them all. But I'm just showing you Mikey here as an example. Great hidden articulation, the sculpted details, along with the paint application on all of these figures is just incredible. The level of detail is insane. NECA once again proves that they can just deliver on quality, small-scale figures that look like they jumped exactly out of the screen. And all of these turtles are just fantastic. Of course, they were originally released as San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, but this year they came to GameStop as exclusives, so that's why they are making the list this year. And coming in at number 3 is the Halloween 2 Michael Myers from NECA Toys. Easily one of my favorite designs for Michael Myers from the movies. Of course, it looks very close to the original design, and obviously the original is my favorite, but NECA does not have the license for those, but they gave us this excellent Halloween 2 Michael that comes with 2 alternate heads, every accessory he kills someone with in the movie, and again, he's on that really nice 2018 Halloween Michael Myers body, so you've got the double jointed elbows, so you can recreate scenes like this where he's covering his face after he's been shot in the eyes by Loomis and is swiping with the scalpel. NECA continues to just completely dominate the game for price, sculpt work, and articulation, and I think things are just going to keep getting better and better for them. So this is, as of right now, in my opinion, the definitive NECA Michael Myers. And coming in at number 2, it's probably no surprise, but this is Star Wars The Black Series, The Mandalorian. You could really go either the original paint one or the carbonized look. I think both of them are excellent. The articulation's insane. The details are amazing. He's got weapon storage for his pistol and the rifle. And of course, combine that with the show being really damn good. This figure just impresses all the way around. Of course, the cape could probably be a little bit better, but I really don't think it's all that bad to begin with. And of course, the main complaint being that he really only has this 100% costume in one episode of the series, and then throughout the series the armor changes. So I can understand why people would be frustrated, but I still think it's a great representation of the character with some really great articulation and accessories. So that makes this my number 2. And to no one's surprise at all, my number 1 action figure of 2019 is the Neca Toys Ultimate Sam. Big surprise, am I right? But this figure is seriously awesome. Easily one of the best NECA figures of all time. The amount of articulation that they packed into a figure so small is just mind-boggling. The double neck joint, the double elbows, the really awesome ankle pivot. Sam delivers on all fronts, and then he also has the added bonus of coming with many interchangeable heads, lots of great accessories, and the details are just wonderful on little Sam here. This was one of the figures that I've wanted for a very long time, ever since the original release of the figure, which was really just a glorified statue. I'm happy that we got to get Sam in the Ultimate line updated with all of this great articulation and accessories. Love the design. Can't say enough good things about Sam from NECA Toys. Probably my favorite NECA figure in my collection, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm just a huge fan of the movie, and they absolutely killed it with this Sam. So that is my number 1 action figure of 2019. Of course, let me know what your guys' top 10 action figures of 2019 are in the comments down below. Let's talk some adult collectibles, not for ages 13 or under, question mark. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on it, subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about action figures, movies, and Blu-rays, so if any of that is interesting to you, you are in the right spot. Of course, I'm Nate. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.